going to be talking about depression and suicide. We recently heard about Cramthorpe, David Johnson from India as well, similar circumstances. B.B. Chandrasekhar sir, who was basically the rock of CSK. And I personally have been there as well, so I know for a fact that it's not a pretty journey. It is very challenging. It is debilitating. You feel like you're worthless. You feel like you're a burden to the people you love. I remember in 2011, I went the entire year so ashamed of who I'd become as a human being. It's absolutely okay to not know what you have to do next. Sometimes just existing for that one day is what you need to do next. Oftentimes, you don't need the light at the end of the tunnel. You need the light only to the next step. Hey guys, welcome to another episode of True Learnings, and today I'm going to be talking about a tough subject, to be very honest. I'm going to be talking about depression and suicide. We recently heard about Cramthorpe. And we've heard about multiple people who have, even recently cricketers, who have, ended their lives because of depression. Even in the past, we've heard of athletes and cricketers who went into their lives because of clinical depression and just being suicidal. And I personally have been there as well, so I know for a fact that it's not a pretty journey. It is very challenging. It is debilitating. It is exhausting, and it is heavy. That's how it feels. It feels heavy. It feels burdensome. And I often felt when I was going through clinical depression as a burden onto myself even. Forget the people around me. I felt a burden onto myself, and I felt I was just going through life in a way that was far from where I wanted it to be, and I had no answers. I was seeking and seeking and seeking to no avail, and it just didn't feel right. A lot of it didn't feel sustainable. Life didn't feel sustainable. And my heart goes out to Cramthorpe and his family. I can't imagine what he went through to be able to do what he did. My prayers go out to his family. So as to David Johnson from India as well. Similar circumstances. We've seen and heard of multiple instances within the sport of cricket where this has happened. One that comes to mind immediately is B.B. Chandrasekhar sir, who is basically the rock of CSK. It was by him that CSK were able to get MS Dhoni in there and create that kind of that legacy side that they created. Johnny Bairstow's dad as well. So it's been around in our sport, and I just felt it was the right time to have a conversation about it because it is challenging. How do you deal with it? What do you experience actually? I think even before getting to how do you deal with it, what does one experience? You feel like you're worthless. You feel like you're a burden to the people you love. You feel like absolutely hopeless, and every step feels like heavier and heavier and heavier. Every step that you take just feels like more is being added on to you, and you just feel immobile. I went through weeks and months years of just not wanting to get out of the bed. Uh, I remember in 2011, I went the entire year so ashamed of who I'd become as a human being that I couldn't look at myself in the mirror. And I went all of 2011 just not looking myself in the mirror. I would just get in and get out, avoid any opportunity or even an instance of me looking at myself anyway, or looking at my reflection anyway. And I know how defeated I felt in those moments. I know how burdensome my existence had become, and I felt so far away from being purposeful in life. And I'm sure that there are different moments in our lives that we felt that. It could be because of a particular experience, it could be because of um, something not going your way, it could be because of a relationship, it could be because of multiple relationships, it could be because of not being aligned with what your true purpose is in life. But I just want to tell you that whatever it is, there is a way out of this. It is about having faith in yourself even when you have no faith in yourself, if that makes any sense. It's about taking a chance on yourself. It's about taking that chance to put faith in yourself. I think when I first experienced clinical depression, I didn't even know I was going through it. I just didn't feel like myself. I just felt like something was off, something was wrong, something was innately just wrong with me. And I just felt so heavy in my head, in my eyes, on my shoulders, my back, my legs, my feet felt really heavy. And I had no explanation for it. But I still had to turn up to play cricket. I still had to turn up for the different commitments that I had. I tried to escape it. I tried to ignore it. I tried to just say, no, it's fine. I don't want to deal with it. I kind of, like an ostrich, I just put my head down into a hole thinking that there is no problem. That kind of leads me to, how does one actually deal with it? The first thing that one needs to do that can begin the process of even getting back to yourself and figuring out a way out of this hole is to acknowledge to yourself that yes, there is something wrong. If we live in denial, then it's going to be very hard to pull yourself out of that hole. You got to acknowledge to yourself that I'm not feeling great. I'm feeling like this, and I'm feeling everything that I'm feeling. Maybe a great way to do that would be to just pen down some notes. That's how I figured out that something's wrong with me. One day I just picked up a book and I said, let me just write about myself. I started writing about myself, and after a certain point, I didn't have much to write about. Because it didn't make any difference that I was the second highest earning IPL player at that point in time while I was going through clinical depression. I made zero difference to that. My career accomplishments up until that point made zero difference to how I was feeling about myself. But the minute I acknowledged and I started writing down that, okay, this is who I am, this is where I am, this is how I feel, and I started jotting down every little thing that I was feeling about myself. And I put them down, like I wrote them in pretty detail. I realized that there is something wrong here. And I need to figure this out. I want to figure it out. But how do I figure it out? Was the next question. But the intention was born then when I acknowledged to myself that there was something wrong. And that for me would be the absolute number one thing to do. First, acknowledge that something is wrong. The minute you do that and you start existing from that place, then you will know that things can be done. The second thing that one can do is speak to someone about it. Someone that you trust, someone that you perhaps love. Just speak to them that this is how you feel, that you're not feeling okay, that you're not feeling good, that you're feeling absolute crap, you're feeling worthless, you're feeling like a burden. Whatever you're feeling, whatever that is your experience, share that with someone. Two things happen when you share that with people. One is there is another person that you trust and love that begins to go on that journey with you. Second is, it actually takes away a little of that power of what you're feeling at that point in time. Because when you don't share what you're going through, what tends to happen is it has and starts possessing a lot of power over you. The negative talk inside, that chatter inside, becomes stronger and stronger and stronger. And up until a point where only that's running through your head. But the minute you voice it and let that energy out of yourself, you realize that you've created room for positivity. You've created room for perhaps just neutrality, So voicing it becomes really, really crucial. After you have shared it with someone that you love, the third step to do would be to actually seek help from somebody. A good professional goes a long way. A good counselor goes a long, long way. Ideally, someone that you don't necessarily know, someone who's a stranger but has good credit about the work they do. So, seeking help would be the ideal third step. And how do you figure out if you're seeking help from the right person? Now, that would be the fourth step. The fourth step is to figure out if you have got a good counselor. Now, who is a good counselor? A good counselor, according to me, is someone who doesn't offer you solutions. But a good counselor is someone who asks you the right questions and empowers you to figure out your own solutions. Because in that process of empowerment, your confidence slowly begins to build. There are a dime a dozen counselors out there and psychologists out there. Now, when you go to them with a problem, especially in this time and age, they will immediately offer you medication. I will say to you that medication should be something that comes after a certain period of time of counseling. A good counselor will not offer you or suggest you to go to a psychologist to get medication, or to take medication, perhaps in the first 1 year of even you going to them and seeking their help. So, if you meet any counselors or psychologists who are telling you to take antidepressants or something else, in the first couple of months, that would be a red flag for me. So seek a counselor who asks the right questions, who empowers you to think for yourself, who empowers you to find solutions for yourself. And you will see how much potential you possess as a human being. Minute you find the next step. So the next step would be to stick to the plan. Oftentimes, and this has happened to me, and I'm telling this to you out of my own experience. When I first went to a counselor in 2009, and I love her to bits. I was so lucky and grateful that I found her. Grateful to my mum, to also Leela auntie, who was also a mother to me, for finding me this counselor. And she was such an incredible lady, such an incredible woman, who asked me the right questions and empowered me. And inside 3 months, I began seeing the potential I possessed as a human being and started taking control of my life. And I thought, in my naivete at that point, that I'm good to go. I don't need help anymore. So I stopped going to her. I thought I figured my life out. But that was not the case. I went through that rigmarole of, how we Indians do this antibiotic course that doctors give us, where we take the course. If it's an antibiotic course that's given to us for a week, we take it for 5 days, we feel good as gold, and then we stop taking the antibiotics the last 2 days. And then it comes back on, probably twice as strong, and then we got to take that antibiotic course again for another 10 days. So it's similar with mental health. With mental health, you got to stay the course and then some, just to err on the side of safety. So it would demand you to be extremely patient with the entire process. I can tell you from my own experience, it took me 2009. Then I got off the wagon, jumped off the horse and said, I'm good to go. I came back again, 2011. And I only truly got over it in 2015, 2016. 2015 is when I actually came out of it completely. And my advice or my suggestion would be to stay the course and then some, just to err on the side of safety, so that you understand and know for sure that you're out of it. And I can tell you today, with what Sheets is going through, she is going through postpartum depression, prenatal depression, and it's been a journey for us, for her as a person, and for us as a couple. It's been quite a journey, but we're being patient with it because it demands us to be patient. And so I would encourage all of you all, once you get to step number 5, stay patient and stay the course, because it's very important. The next step would be to be kind to yourself. Oftentimes through the process, we forget to be kind to ourselves. And I think it's critical and very important to be very kind to ourselves in this process. To allow ourselves the room to make mistakes along the way. And then when we fall down, to be kind to ourselves, to pick ourselves back up. Oftentimes, we berate ourselves. At this point, or when someone's going through depression, what you need most of all, and what someone needs most of all, is kindness, is encouragement, is a shoulder to lean on, is an encouraging word, and the room to make mistakes. And if you forget to be kind to yourself, then what tends to happen is the journey takes longer. So I would truly encourage all of you to be kind to yourselves in this process if you find yourselves in this situation. The next one would be to take responsibility. Take responsibility for your life. Take responsibility for everything that happens in your life. You alone are responsible for everything that happens in your life. That power remains with you, and do not give that power to anybody else. The minute you take power back from the people you have given it to, you automatically will feel so much more empowered. One of the things we do as people is to blame other people for our shortcomings or our failures or our foibles. No. Own it. Take it. Take it on your chin. You know what Rocky says in that movie? He says, life is not about how hard you can hit, but it's about how hard you can get hit and get back up. And I truly think wiser words haven't been spoken. So take responsibility for your life. Take responsibility for everything that happens in your life. Take ownership. And when you do that, things will slowly start becoming better and better and better. The next step would be to be extremely patient with yourself and take one step at a time. Oftentimes, as people, we want to see results immediately, and I can assure you, the people around you, especially the people you love, will see those results possibly the latest after everyone else sees the progress you've made. Simply because they're so used to seeing you day in and day out. You'll probably see a lot of changes within yourself, and people around you, the people you love the most, probably won't see it. Probably you'll have to explain it to them. So make sure you take one step at a time and be patient with yourself. Because oftentimes in the journey, you will feel like, I don't know which way to go. I don't know what to do next. And you don't have to know. It's fine. It's absolutely okay to not know what you have to do next. Sometimes just existing for that one day is what you need to do next. Exist for that one day. Get to the next day. Oftentimes you don't need the light at the end of the tunnel. You need the light only to the next step. And know that when the sun rises the next day, you will have the answer of where the next step is. You will have it if you are seeking it. So you need to be very aware, and you need to promise yourself that you'll take one step at a time and be patient and kind with yourself. The next step is a truly empowering one. I would say is to seek only and only your own approval. Oftentimes in our journey back to being ourselves, we look out for approval if we are in the right direction. One thing to do would be to start paying attention as to what feels good for you. And start setting standards for yourself, which oftentimes we miss along the way. Set standards by how you want to live your life, what kind of a person you want to be, what are the standards by which you want to live your life, and apply that to your life as like number one thing. And again, don't forget the previous steps. You've got to exercise all of those steps. And when you set those standards for yourself, seek only your own approval. You want to be accountable to someone? Sure. Be accountable to a trusted friend, to your counselor, to a trusted partner, whoever you feel you can be accountable to. Be accountable to them and let them hold you accountable to it. But seek only your own approval. Everybody else will fall in line after a point in time. It'll happen naturally. The most important step is the last step. And the last step is about self-awareness. Have an understanding of how you would like to feel, ideally, on a day-to-day basis. What is the best feeling that you would like to feel on a daily basis that helps you operate from your optimum and gives you the best chance to have an amazing day. What does that feel like for you? What are the things that make you and bring you to that place where you feel like that? Build a lot of awareness about that. When you build a lot of awareness about that and you start perhaps putting that down even, and then you start trying to live and bring yourself to as close to that feeling as possible on a day-to-day basis, and start being accountable to yourself about that, that is when magic begins to happen. And it's truly beautiful because you start seeing the potential you possess as a human being, as a soul, as a spirit, and you start realizing how infinite you are and how everything that you've gone through so far has only been for your good, because it has helped you grow so much. Know that you have the power, the potential, the wherewithal to overcome anything and everything in life. Nothing can stop you. The only thing and only person that can stop you is yourself. No, you just haven't discovered the potential you possess. And if you seek that potential, I promise you, you will find it. You have to seek it. There's a difference between looking for something, and there's a difference between that and seeking something. So I would encourage all of you all to seek that highest version of yourselves, that ideal feeling that gives you the best chance to go out there on a day-to-day basis and live that day out to have a great day. Try and get yourself as close to that feeling as possible. It's not easy. It's never meant to be easy. It is life outside of the comfort zone. And if you want to grow in life, that is the only place where you will grow in life. You won't grow within the comfort zone. You will only grow outside of it. And I can assure you this, the answers are always within. They are never without. Everything you seek is right in here. These are the steps that I personally used to be able to overcome clinical depression and being suicidal. And I've shared with you all what has worked for me. I'm certain that there are things a lot of other survivors, a lot of other thrivers, I would call them, have used to be able to overcome it and live and give themselves the best chance to live their best life and become the highest versions of themselves. And my heart once again goes out to the families of the bereaved. I truly hope that they will be able to overcome this loss and live their best life. Thank you so much for listening to me. Please share with me your thoughts. I would love to understand from any other thrivers and survivors who have gone through the similar situations in life, experienced clinical depression, what they did to overcome it. It'll be nice to resonate that and share that and help people perhaps who are even unaware that they're going through it, that they are going through it. Thanks so much for listening to me. I will see you guys in the next episode of True Learnings. Bye.